Well, let's quickly take you live now to the Supreme Court on some recent developments.
What happens to the people getting closer to a by-election? What happens to the people of Assin North? Because the court says this should remain in force until the substantive matter is determined.
Yes, definitely. So it means that as the High Court that had earlier on held, the seat for me, the people of Assin North will not be represented. And I think that we're enough for all these legal gymnastics that have been employed by the lawyers for Assin North. Perhaps the by-election should have been conducted long ago. And I, in my view, think that there's even nothing in the way of the Electoral Commission to declare the seat vacant. The High Court has ruled, given a judgment, determining the status of the gentleman as not qualified to have stood for election, and had actually cancelled the election conducted in the Assin North constituency. And the Court of Appeal subsequently struck out this appeal for non-compliance with the rules of the Court of Appeal. So there's no appeal pending. And I think the way is clear. But of course, the Supreme Court has ordered an expedited hearing and determination of this matter. Yes, I believe that the Supreme Court hearing definitely will also affirm all the principles of law that I have indicated had early on been established by the courts of Ghana.
As Attorney General, it must really worry you that between now and whatever time that the Supreme Court would have heard the substantive matter, the people of Assin North, their right to representation would have been taken away from them.
I don't think there's any right to representation which has been imperiled at all. I mean, it must be established clearly that the Supreme Court has always exercised its powers to grant an injunction in constitutional matters. Way back in 1996, the Supreme Court granted an injunction against the MPP in the case of Rosemary Kwame against the MPP. The MPP was injuncted from proceeding to elect a candidate on account of the fact that the Supreme Court has exercised the power to grant an injunction. It's a court of law and equity, and therefore the main basis for determining whether an injunction ought to be granted is whether indeed a clear case of unconstitutionality has been established. And as I indicated in the argument to the court, each passing day that the gentleman continues to unlawfully go to Parliament, he breaches the Constitution. So it's a running unconstitutionality. And I think that the Supreme Court is in its right to halt such a patent and running unconstitutionality.
So you heard the Attorney General there, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, speaking to the press. We have the legal team for Mr. Michael Ankoma-Nimfa, who took this particular matter. We can speak to Mr. Frank Davis. He's here with us. Mr. Davis.
Thank you. It's not a matter of me definitely expecting this. It's a matter of the Lord Justices of the Supreme Court having made a determination of the application which was before them. If you say that I knew this was coming, as if I'm a judge, I'm just a lawyer. I present my case before the court and the court rules. Indeed, I'm not a clairvoyant. Well, because of what we had put before the court, my expectation was that the constitution of the land will be upheld, and that the constitution of the land will be given its highest priority. And that is what has happened. One cannot involve in egregious breaches of the constitution and still go around holding himself as a citizen of this country. From day one, when the judgment of the High Court was rendered, it was manifestly obvious that James Jesse Kwesi could not hold himself out as a member of Parliament. He doggedly went on, was attending on to the business of government. But today, that road has been effectively blocked. You can tread a path for too long, but it doesn't give you the right to do things which are irregular, unlawful, and an affront to the Constitution.
Mr. Davis, the AG holds the view that
your client, even in an attempt to enforce the Constitution regards parliamentary elections, is also minded about the right of his own people, including he himself, to be represented in Parliament. This has been the lingering concern from day one of this. How do you reckon the people of Assin North will be represented up to the time that the court would have duly dealt with the matter and fresh elections conducted?
The right of representation is not a stricture by itself. The right of representation is steeped in law. You can't have an illegible person running around as a member of Parliament for a constituency when he is not. It obviously leads to a mutilation of the sovereign will of the people of Assin North. They are better off now without someone who is parading as a member of Parliament whilst he is not. whilst we await the decision of this court. The mere fact that they don't have to quote a member of parliament at this time does not, in any event, strip them of what they are entitled to as citizens of this country. At any particular point in time, there will be a needed representation from the new Patriotic Party for the Assin North constituency.
Mr. Davis, the AG holds the view that as far as he's concerned, he doesn't think anything actually stops the EC from going ahead to declare the seat vacant and having the by-election takes place. Is that a position that you share as well?
I won't stray into that logic. The EC was represented in the courtroom. They have a lawyer, and the lawyer will advise them as to the next steps to take. I do not attempt to speak for the EC.
Yeah, but what do you expect to happen?
Well, you also have read the Constitution. As a trained journalist, you've read the Constitution.
But the court said it remains till the substantive matter is determined. For now, they do not have an MP. There's a judgment that was final that says he can't hold himself as MP.
So the EC will do what is right by law.
So you had Mr. Davis there. He is lawyer for Michael and Nimfa, who filed this particular action right from the petition that was filed at the High Court, right from the High Court through to the Supreme Court now. Now let's go and listen to Baba Jamal. He is a member of the NDC's legal team. He will be addressing us as well.
Your member was not in court today personally, and this was handed down. How do you receive this ruling?
I don't think that it matters whether he was here or not. Let me say that the Supreme Court has given its ruling, but we vehemently disagree with their position. I think that it is a sad day for all of us. That if what it means is that Assin North is also not going to have representation in Parliament for as long as this case lasts. That is a sad situation, because there are precedents in this country. We all remember the case in Ayawaso, West Wagon, where the lady was allowed to stay in Parliament until the final day of the determination of the case. So I thought that the Supreme Court will consider that situation and allow a representation. You see, this is a representation matter. If people have voted for a person, this is a representation matter. They deserve representation in Parliament. And so we thought that when the case is on, we could still have a representation in Parliament. But that is what the Supreme Court has said. The legal team will meet, of course, and also officially know the next step to take.
So he had Baba Jamal there. He's a legal practitioner and a member of the National Democratic Congress. And so if you are just joining us, the news that we have for you this mid-morning is that the Supreme Court has, by a 5-2 majority decision, ruled that Assin North MP James Jeche-Kwesin cannot hold himself as Member of Parliament or attend to or present himself in Parliament until the substantive case which has been filed here at the Supreme Court is dealt with. I mean, the decision, this case started from July 2021 at the Cape Coast High Court after the 2020 parliamentary elections, where an election petition was filed by Michael Nimfa. He's a resident of the constituency, saying that the MP owed dual citizenship and owed citizenship to Canada at the time of filing to contest the polls. And so the court ruled in his favor. An appeal was filed. The matter is still pending at the Court of Appeal. Portions of it were struck out. Then an application was done by Mr. Nimfa's lawyers here at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has today, by a 5-2 majority decisions. In terms of the makeup of the panel, by way of the decision that was reached by the Supreme Court, the two justices that took the view that the MP should not be restrained are Justices Nene Amegacha as well as Justice Agnes Doji. So those are the two judges that took the view that he shouldn't be restrained. The majority that made the 5, there was Justice Jones Doche, there was also Justice Professor Mensah Bonsu, as well as Justice Yoni Kulendi and Justice Gertrude Tokonu. They made up the majority opinion that concluded that as far as they are concerned, the MP should be restrained from performing parliamentary duties. And so, as it stands now, James Jeche-Kwesin, who won the 2020 Assin North parliamentary polls, cannot hold himself as a Member of Parliament until the Supreme Court determines this substantive case which has been filed here against him. And one will ask, when will that case be determined? The Supreme Court has adjourned that matter indefinitely, and so we are waiting to see when that date will be fixed. And we brought you interactions between ourselves and the Attorney General, who takes the view that nothing actually stops the EC from declaring the seat vacant. We also heard from Frank Davis, who represented Michael Ankoma Nimfa, as well as hearing from Baba Jamal, a legal practitioner who is with the National Democratic Congress. And so that is the news and the latest we have from you from the Supreme Court. My name is Joseph Akable.
And my colleague there bringing us details from the Supreme Court. And of course, the Assin North Member of Parliament can no longer hold himself as such. He has been stopped as per this ruling with 2 dissenting opinions. As time goes on, we'll bring you the full decision on that case. But as it stands now, he cannot hold himself out as an MP. Up next, though, we bring you business. Do stay.